you're the devil that you're so afraid of. Oh, the devil is putting all these obstacles and trying to scare me and yada, 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 yada. The reason why you believe that there is a devil, or there is let's extend this past the devil, let's just say an enemy, whether it be human form or spiritual form, is that you believe that there is fundamentally something other than yourself. When you realize that there is nothing but you, that everything is God, you'll realize that the devil doesn't exist. An enemy doesn't exist. They're all illusions that you created because you don't realize that you are all that is. And you and everybody is made out of the same substance, which is God. And God is fundamentally whole and harmonious. Just like the human design is fundamentally whole and harmonious. We are designed as humans for our organs to coordinate with each other, for ourselves to work together, for everything in our bodies to benefit the whole. Our heart pumping benefits the rest of our body. Our lungs breathing benefits the rest of our body. When you realize that you're God and you are fundamentally whole, the illusion of a devil, the illusion of an enemy goes away. None of those things fundamentally exist. You are creating them or aligning to them or choosing that idea exists because you do not realize that God is all that is. That God fundamentally is harmonious. That God fundamentally cannot be against itself on a fundamental level. Because God is one. That's it. So, any enemy that you have had has been a self-created illusion. If you believed in the devil, that was an illusion. None of those things are fundamentally real. I think the biggest, pitfall people have, I don't know if pitfall is the right word for it, but the biggest struggle that people have that I've identified in the manifestation space, in the spiritual space, is that they really, they can say all the correct things, but they don't get it. They don't get it. I need y'all to realize that life is fundamental, or just any experience that you're able to experience. Just any level of experience that can be experienced is a dream. And you are the dreamer and you are the dream at the same time. So you're your human character in this dream called life. But you're also your parents fundamentally. You're also your grandmother. You're also your siblings. You're also your friends. You're also your specific person. You're also your table. You're also your food. You're also the street. You're also the other cars. Just like when you wake up from a dream, you realize that everything was going on within you. That's the same thing that this human life is. It's just that this dream is quote unquote continuous. When you get more into spirituality and you realize more and more that this is a dream, things can get a little more trippy. Not in a scary sense. It's actually been pretty fun. I've had people, we had an argument literally the night before. The next morning, it's like it never happened. There was one time I was annoyed by my specific person and I wanted them to text me so bad, but then I dropped it and I just did the dishes for 15 minutes. I just washed the dishes. Then I went back to my phone and it showed that they had texted me 40 minutes before, but I was on my phone 40 minutes ago and there was no notification, there was no alert, there was no buzzing, nothing. So things can get trippy and very likely will when you finally realize what this shit is. But you just have to realize that's the biggest thing. This is the thing that people don't get, and this is why they feel delayed or things aren't manifesting or things aren't going their way. Everything is you fundamentally. Everything. So when you realize that, you realize that everything has to work harmoniously with you. And I'm not saying, oh, the past was harmonious and whatever. I'm not going to tell you to lie to yourself and say, oh, that stuff was so amazing. Because it wasn't. Because you didn't believe and you didn't realize that everything was you. Everything was working for you because it had to. Because it is you. You believed in an external enemy. You believed that things could go against your will. When you realize that your will is God's will, when you realize that your dream is God's dream, when you realize that you and everybody and everything else are literally the same, different expressions of the same thing, but the same thing nonetheless. You're all God wearing different masks. You're all God coordinating this play called reality. And when you realize that it is your best interest and everybody else's best interest for you to live the life that you desire to live in every single moment, that's when this shit gets easy. That's when you realize there's no devil. That's when you realize there's nothing to fear because you are everything. And everything has to work harmoniously with you when you realize that you are everything.